Jeff. Okay. All right. Hey, good to see everybody. As I was mentioning earlier, I just got back from 3 days in Kansas City with my friend Chris Pearson. We had a wonderful
Hey.
time.
Yes, we
Yes.
did.
Ate a lot of good food, did a fair amount of shopping. I got to see parts of Kansas City I'd never seen before, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then I made it back on the train. Actually, got back into Kirkwood ahead of schedule, like by 5 minutes. So yeah, so I'm ready. She and I
What's it?
watched.
What, Karen? What's it take to go from Kansas City to St. Louis on the train?
Well, if you leave out of Kirkwood, which is where I live, which is a western suburb of
Right.
St. Louis, it's right at 5 hours. And if you drive
Wow.
it near the speed limit, it's about 4 hours.
Yeah.
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 So
That
yeah,
didn't sound bad to me.
no, because if you're driving, you're driving. If you're on the train, you can snooze, you can
Yeah.
snack, you can read a
Agreed.
book. Yeah. So it was fun. Yeah. But anyway, okay. So I chose Pirate Radio, which is also known as The Boat That Rocked. It was made in 2009. Richard Curtis was the director. He's famous for rom-coms, Notting Hill, Bridget Jones' Diary, Love Actually, Four Weddings and a Funeral, one of my very favorites. So that's the kind of his, um, you know, his movies. This one was it was filmed in England entirely, and it had a lot of stars. It had Philip Seymour Hoffman as the Count. It had Bill Nighy as Quentin. Um, it had Chris O'Dowd as Simon, bless his little heart. Rhys Darby as Angus. You might remember him from Flight of the Conchords. And then um, the did anybody recognize Thick Kevin? Everybody knows who Thick Kevin was, right? Not the bride.
Hmm.
Anybody recognize him from something more recent? It took me both watchings to figure it out. How many of you have seen the most recent uh, season of Slow Horses? Anybody?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. The guy in the hood, the dangerous guy. That's
Yeah.
Thick Kevin.
Oh
Oh,
my
I
gosh.
know. I know it
wow.
took me, but I didn't. I just kept thinking, I've seen this guy, but I kept thinking, oh, maybe one of those Regency things. Maybe he was,
Yeah.
in costume or one of the, something else very English, but which Slow Horses is. But
Wasn't
yeah,
he in Shaun of the Dead?
was he at that part? I've never seen Shaun of the Dead, so I wouldn't have
Oh my God.
recognized him from that. Yeah. So anyway, and so yeah, a lot of stars, but the soundtrack is the star of this movie. Yeah.
How could they afford that?
That's what I want. Well, here's the thing. It
Hmm.
cost 50 million to make, and it
Wow.
earned 36.6 million.
Oh.
It was a flop in England. It did not, but it was longer. It was much longer. There were like five major scenes that they cut out when they
Yeah, it
made it.
said 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and so yeah, and then it came to the United States. It did meet moderately well its first weekend, and then after that, it just fell off. So it really just never found its audience, and it's not even like considered a cult classic. It is for me. The music. I kept trying to write down all the names of all the musicians, but I won't bore you with all that. But anyway, I have some questions that I want to ask. But before I do that, I just kind of wanted to see because like I said, it really wasn't. It's not even quite a rom-com. It's not doesn't really fall into that over of Richard Curtis, but and it wasn't very popular. So I wanted to kind of hear what people thought about it, if they enjoyed it, and if so, what they did like about it. And then I have a few questions to ask you, but I'll turn the floor over. Okay, what's in the number six? What is this?
That's about what it was.
Oh, you gave it a 6 out of 10. Hopefully not 6 out of 100.
I loved it. I loved how the songs corresponded to whatever was happening at the time. And you have to kind of listen to figure that out. But then it's like, okay, what are they going to play next, for this scene and
Right.
that scene? And I guess the story was kind of disjointed in a way, but it had to be so that you could get to learn who all the different DJs were and what their part was, on the station. but I thought it was great fun. Great fun, Karen. Good pick.
Thanks.
Oh, Karen, I'm so glad that you have this theme of the 60s. The music was another star. It was the star. I was just blown away by the music. It was so much fun. I have to make it was so much fun that my husband, we have to go to like a birthday party at the end of the month, and we have to like dress in 60s stuff,
Okay.
And my husband yesterday said, we have to go in, bring some music in and go in dancing because my husband likes to dance. And so he said, we're going to go in dancing with our outfits. I don't know. Yeah, we'll probably be,
You
Danny
can
and
dance like
Sandy or
these guys in
something.
my background.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And
You
dress
could
like you
take
can dress like the guys, yeah,
Yeah,
in
you could take a
exactly.
boombox.
Exactly.
And he can be Bob.
Huh?
Bob was the
Bob,
coolest
yeah.
character, I thought.
Who would have
Anyway, it
ever
was
thought
so
that Bill
much
Nye
fun.
was as good a dancer as he is?
I
I
can't
know.
hear you. What,
Who,
John?
who would have thought Bill Nye is as good a dancer as
Oh,
he
I know. I love
was?
Bill Nye. Love
Yeah,
him
great
every
actor.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
he did kind
remember
of dance in Love Actually,
exactly.
remember?
Yeah, he
And
was
that
an
came
old rock
before
star.
this. Love Actually
Yeah,
was filmed before Pirate
yeah.
Radio.
Okay,
I thought it, I really enjoyed it, and I had forgotten because I had seen it before a long time ago, and well, when it came out, and I really liked it then, but I had forgotten how much. I don't know why. I just really liked it. I thought the music, Bill Nye, Philip Seymour, of course, are wonderful. But then I looked up the real story because that's what I would call it.
Mhm,
It's kind of
mhm.
it's kind of like a docudrama,
Okay.
because it's not really documentary, but that really happened. But it turns out that there were something like six boats, not just one. There was
Hmm.
actually about six of them, and they were all
Hmm.
doing the rock. And I just thought it also brought up how music at that time was such a turning point in culture, history, everything. Not only there, but here too.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and that's what I liked about it too, is that even though it was taking place over there, over here there was a similar, although we didn't have the problems with the radio, but certainly we had, problems with people, trying to get rock and roll off the air, and the Catholic Church was a biggie of. I can't remember. It wasn't the Legion of Decency, but it was something else about the music that was, you know, uh,
Wasn't Wolfman Jack in Mexico?
Yeah.
I think you're
Wolfman
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jack.
I think you're
Yes.
right, Mike. Yeah. Well, at one point, remember Quentin says, governments loathe people being free.
Yeah.
And that was why he thought they were going to, they would continue to go after them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they did that law.
Yeah.
Uh,
Maritime Offenses Act.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And they could. I mean, they really did put everybody uh, down. And everybody ended up losing a lot of money and boats and all
Mhm.
kinds of stuff. But yeah, anyway, I really enjoyed it. I thought the cast there was chemistry with the whole cast.
Mhm.
And that's what I really liked too. You did get this sense of a group, being on a boat all the
Mhm.
time, 24/7.
Mhm.
Um, and I just enjoyed it. I thought, yeah,
Good.
it was
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
disjointed, but yeah, but the music saved it. More than anything, I think they was
I
really the
think ours
star.
was KAAY in Little Rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
WLS was also
Yeah.
available.
Yeah.
WLS in
Right.
Chicago, biggie.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that brings me to my question, which is kind of a targeted question, but um, for my friends, Sanders was one, but Mahoney is another, and Gary that graduated from J school in the mid 70s. Radio was still a big thing. Radio's not so much a big thing anymore, but it's still. Did you start your career in radio? I'm pretty sure Mike Sanders did. What about you, Gary?
Yeah, I started in radio while I was still in high school, but I was a
Well, so
news
yeah, so you
writer.
even had the 60s perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a
And what
news
about you,
writer.
Mike?
Yeah, I started in high school as well, and the the job that Whitaker and I were at KTGR in Columbia was my first job in top 40 radio.
So did you feel like there was any, to any extent, like a parallel between the, not just, you guys weren't on boats and going against the grain as far as, the Maritime Offenses Act, but just sort of that camaraderie that we're all in this sort of thing together, that the DJs, there was a pecking order. Did any of that resonate with you?
Yeah.
In Springfield.
Yeah, I mean, yes, to a degree. Whitaker and I may have had different takes on this because we worked on different sides of the day. I worked in the afternoons and he worked in the mornings. But yeah, there was camaraderie with the DJs. There was a lot of discussion about the music we were playing, and we were in a pretty tight top 40 format. But
Okay.
yeah. So some of that resonated for sure, right? What?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and the station I started at in Springfield had a block format. And in the morning, the DJ was actually a musician and he played piano and invited guests in. So it was almost like a talk show with guests. And a lot of the people who, like Porter Wagner's, those were people who passed through. Brenda Lee started at that radio station. And then as the day went on, at night, the radio station, they turned it over. They all went home and turned it over to a couple guys who played album rock, which was, very, it wasn't top 40. It was long form. And those guys would invite what became the Ozark Mountain Daredevils in, and they would play in the studio. It was a recording studio in addition to a radio station.
Wow.
So there was a lot going on that was very against the grain. They were the only people in town doing long form radio. We had top 40.
Yeah.
And then the station that Mahoney and I worked for, there was a cast of characters. It just so happened that they were all named Mike.
We can relate.
No, that's
The
true.
program director's name was Mike Morgan. There was a Mike Schaefer, a Mike Jordan, a Mike Mahoney. I mean, Mahoney had to change his name to Pat Mahoney because there were too many Mikes on the radio station.
So are you Michael Patrick? Is that why you were Pat?
No, it was my brother's name.
Oh.
And the news director, the program director, who had the afternoon shift, told me, like 5 minutes before I first did my first newscast, he said, "Oh, by the way, there's only one Mike on this station, and it's me, Mike Morgan. Figure out another name." Just like that. And I took my brother's name because it was familiar to me, and so I had a set of friends in Columbia that called me Pat the entire time they knew me.
Oh my gosh, that's
Wow.
so funny.
Program director had the afternoon shift. I mean, he was the on-air personality in the afternoon. He spent his lunch hour getting lubricated.
Oh.
And so as the day progressed,
Oh.
I was early morning, so everybody that I worked with was sober, but not for Mahoney.
No, the station was in the Tiger Hotel in downtown Columbia,
Okay. I
which is
remember
still
that
there, I
place.
believe. And anyway,
From the outside. Not
yeah. The station was on the ground floor, immediately to the left as you walked into the Tiger Hotel building. If you walked into the Tiger Hotel building on the ground floor and turned to the right, then you were in the Tiger Lounge, and that's where Morgan had his 3 or 4 Scotch lunches every day. And in fact, that's how I got my job there, because I was able to drink Scotch with him in the afternoon, and he gave me the job, and then I had to drive back to Iowa hammered after getting the job.
Well, the best part about working at that radio station is before Mahoney and I worked there, this goes back 3 or 4 years, it had been an album rock station.
Oh.
But the record companies didn't know that we had turned to top 40. So they kept sending us album after album after album. And they would never be stuff that never got played. And so I asked Morgan, what do you do with these records? He goes, they're just filling up space. Take whatever you want.
Oh my God.
So
Now,
I
did
mean,
Sanders work there too?
no,
Yeah.
but
He did. Okay.
he benefited from being
Yeah.
Mahoney and mine's roommate because we had a great record collection.
Oh, I
Yeah.
bet.
Well,
Trying to get him out of the building.
and so how many people's hearts were breaking? I know Jeff Copeland's were when you saw those albums floating as the boat
Oh,
went.
yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, oh, of all the people in our group, the person who shed the most tears was Jeff.
Well, the desperation that the nighttime guy, the dad of
The dad. Yeah.
dad, he was going to go down with the ship if it required
Yeah.
that to get those records, and I identified with that heavily.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree
The
with
one,
your
the one
comment,
thing
Kieran.
that Whit and I can attest to, the dad, overnight DJ, says he has this shift from what was it, 3
to
a.m. in
6?
the morning until 6. Well, at KTGR, we had an overnight guy that went from midnight to 6, and so Whit would see him in the morning when he was getting off air, and I would see him occasionally on the weekends because we would go in and handle his phone calls for him and try to pick up dates at midnight. Sometimes we were lucky, and sometimes we weren't. Anyway, when this guy left, he was happily married to the at least to my knowledge. And then when he left, his name was Gary Boyer, I think.
Right.
Anyway, we discovered he had 4, 5, or 6 different girls on the hook. It was
the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the movie kind of showed that the fans were huge for these guys. They
Even
came to
Dave.
visit.
Ew.
I know.
Ew. Of all
the
the DJs that we were going to see, completely naked, why did it have to be Dave?
him.
He exudes hormones.
Something.
Yeah.
Hormones. Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say that this movie reminded me of a variety of other movies in different ways. In a way, it was kind of like MASH, except they weren't conscripted to be there, except by their love of music. But they were all together there in this kind of unusual circumstance, and they were sort of rebelling against authority, and they were having a lot of fun and messing with each other. The soundtrack was, I understand the physical soundtrack has 60 songs on it, and it's 2 CDs or something like that, whatever those are.
Yeah.
It also reminded me just a little bit of Good Morning Vietnam because of the way that they addressed people. And I was really impressed, as I said, with the way that the fans reacted. That kind of gave a sympathetic tone to the whole thing because there was this nasty asshole government guy and twat. What a great name for
Twat,
yeah. To try to get these guys out, and everybody else, the janitors and people working and nurses and all kinds of different common
And the
people.
Prime Minister's secretary.
Yeah, we're all just digging this music in an incredible way, and I thought that added a little twist to the movie that made it more fun. I wanted to ask Gary if you started doing radio in high school, but your family was pretty strict about things like movies. How did that work?
Well, they didn't mind that I listened to the radio or worked at a radio station.
Because I guess it depends on what's being played at the radio station to some degree.
We had the radio on at our house all the time.
Just no movies.
Yeah, no movies. Yeah. Radio was loud.
So you were rocking out at home?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a pretty good record collection. And I don't know if anybody noticed with the soundtrack, there is one major gap. And
No Beatles.
No Beatles.
No Beatles.
Yeah,
That's right.
In 2009, I think they just probably couldn't get the rights.
That's right.
But there was.
But did you notice that it was bookended by the Kinks song? all day
Yeah.
and all the night. Started
Yeah.
with it and ended with it. Yeah.
In the UK version that got cut out, one of the things they cut out was Philip Seymour Hoffman's tribute to the Beatles that was filmed in front of Abbey Road or something like that.
Something like
Oh,
that. Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
oh,
They
There
I
were
tried to give
three Who
credit.
songs later in the movie, but there were three Who songs. I think there were three Kinks songs, and
I think there
Two
were
or three
four.
turtles.
three.
The
Yeah,
Who.
yeah.
The Who,
Eleanor did. Yeah,
yeah,
Eleanor. Of course, when he married, got god
Eleanor.
awful Eleanor.
Yeah.
And then Goodbye Marianne after Marianne went across the hall,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave's room.
At least two Who songs.
There were
Yeah.
four Who songs.
I thought
Yeah.
there were three, but you could be right.
Yeah, but the Who, yeah.
Let's see. I think I did right. And then I liked the what we called Never Have I Ever, but they called it the deprivation game. I thought that was a great scene in the movie. I've never dreamt when Philip Seymour Hoffman. I've never dreamt about having sex with one of the royal family, and nobody
Yeah.
could raise their hand. And then Felicity, I've never had sex with a man. And then Angus was like, oh. Yeah. And then I've never pooped during sex.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh,
And that
my
was
God.
Dave. And it's like, oh, you knew it was going to be Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, they, like Chris said, they did a really great job of, if you paid it, paid attention to it, when Marianne came back and Carl lost his virginity, they played, this guy's in love with
Yeah.
you. That one. So that was like, oh yeah. And then Christmas, that was the other one I wanted to ask you guys about. I thought that the contrast between that horrible Christmas dinner at Alistair's house, was his wife the ugliest woman you've ever laid eyes on? Oh my God. And it was so tense and cold, and then the Christmas on the boat, and
Right.
they didn't have a tree, they didn't have but they had such a great time. It was such a contrast. Yeah,
When
I
that
thought
was
that was
when that was happening, Karen, I was thinking that Twat and his daughter I thought there might have been a little path where they got together somehow.
yeah. And I don't know, again, it sounded like Curtis had way too much movie for the amount of movie that he could film. So that might have been something that was considered and then lost along the way.
Yeah. Fell on the floor.
Fell on the floor. Right. Well, young
Mike,
Jeff, what about you?
I thought it was great. I mean, I think it was more of a comedy than a rom-com, but I kind of identified with Carl, the young guy.
Of course.
Of course, I missed out on the whole season of this, the 60s love season, but
You were a product of the 60s.
yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I always, I've never been in a radio station, but I always think of it as being like WKRP in Cincinnati. So is it anything like that?
Without the turkeys.
Even after my first job out of school was at an all news radio station, but it had only become an all news radio station within the past month. It had been a top 40 station. And so some of the DJs woke up one day and they were news people trying to read wire copy and write news copy. It was a cast of characters. These were DJs somebody had moved their cheese. And when I showed up out of Mizzou, I had more news experience than anybody on the staff. And I was, 22 years old, fresh out of school. But these guys that had been there forever, and some of them had grown pretty long in tooth, they were DJs in their heyday and they were still hanging on. If you look at my wedding photos, that's who Joan and I knew when we got married, were the cast of characters from the radio station. And if you look at the wedding pictures of our wedding party, it looks like the cast of WKRP. I mean, there are afros and guys with mullets, and those were the stars. They didn't know how to do news, but They know how to spin records. And anytime anybody would call up thinking it was still a top 40 station and would make a request and I'd answer the phone, I would just tell them, I'll play that right after the news. The news
It
never
wasn't
ended.
a lie.
Yeah. Yeah, the never-ending news.
Right. Yeah.
Mike, I looked up Wolfman Jack, and he was at a station just across the river in Mexico, and it broadcast at 150,000 watts.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 times, I think KMOX, or not KMOX, yeah, KMOX in St. Louis, after sundown, it went to 50,000 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the wiki says you could drive from LA to New York and never lose the signal.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
And probably the Canadian border for that matter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think WAAY was 50,000 watts too out of Little Rock at night.
At nighttime, directionally from north to south.
Because you could get it everywhere.
Do you remember the name of the overnight DJ?
I do.
Bleecker Street, and I don't know his name.
Mahoney?
Clyde Clifford.
Clyde Clifford, that's right.
Clyde Clifford, yeah.
Who would finish the story? What's your association with him academically? You
With
did a
Clyde
paper on
Clifford?
him.
Huh?
Yeah.
I never met him.
I didn't say you met him, but I said you did a paper on him. At least
I've slept since then. But he was our soundtrack when we would all get together and go on dates and end up at somebody's house. Clyde Clifford was our soundtrack. Bleecker Street was our soundtrack.
And this is Little Rock you're talking about?
Yeah.
So did anybody have a favorite DJ of the DJs?
Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
The Count? The Count?
Yeah, that would be mine too.
Yeah.
Jeff, how about you? Jeff with the J? Did you have a
He
favorite?
Yeah, I think I'd go with that too. He was exuberant. He was the Good Morning Vietnam style guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Robin Williams of the
Yeah.
Yeah,
the American,
of the boat.
What was the other guy's name who came in later? That was real popular.
Gavin.
He was
Gavin.
kind of a dickhead.
That thing on
Yes, he
the mask.
was.
I know,
Tower was
but his
pretty
on-air
amazing.
persona was pretty great.
Yeah.
And then what about Emma Thompson? Her brief, appearance as
know.
Oh,
Carl's
that's who
mother.
that was. Okay.
Yeah.
and Kenneth Branagh as the
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Emma Thompson is, as she's leaving, tell Mark I said I had a lovely evening.
I got
was like,
no!
no!
I got a kick out of Mark.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything. He
Right.
just
The bird. How about it then?
How about that, or something was
How about
his
it
line.
then?
Yeah, how about it then? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the one of the reviews, and all the reviews kind of said a lot of what all of you have said, which is, it was kind of a little bit disjointed, not really plot, there wasn't really a well-defined plot, but one of them said something that I had to agree with. They said that it was a Valentine to the music of the 60s. And yeah, it was that because, like I said, there was the Kinks and the Who, but there was and the Hollies, but they also played some Jimi Hendrix and the Yardbirds and the Box Tops, the Beach Boys, Dusty Springfield, Cat Stevens, the Seekers. Somebody else said the Turtles. I think John, you said the Turtles. John Fred and his Playboy Band was another one. There was just so many great, songs of the 60s.
There was
we've
one
talked about this
particular
before. I just cannot get over how they could afford all the rights to that.
Do you think maybe because of some of them were shorter clips that they didn't have to pay as much as they did for Eleanor, they played the whole
I think
song.
if you play a note, you're on the hook.
No, you can play up to 4 bars before it turns into royalty. I don't know that they played less than 4 bars, but there is a break point where you can get away with sampling, but you can't put more than 4 bars.
Okay.
But you wonder how much of the $50 million budget was music rights.
Yeah.
I don't have any idea about that. There was one part in the movie where I was just sure they were going to play Procol Harum, Whiter Shade of Pale, and they didn't. And I thought, okay, you made a mistake there, but then they played it later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was perfect there too.
Yeah. And then the Moody Blues, when they played Nights in White Satin as the things are kind of coming to pieces, that was, I thought, it was tonally, it was really a good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I've learned from reading about other movies is movies shot on water are expensive.
Oh.
Waterworld, for
That may have
example.
been and I don't know if it was all studio, or if they, obviously in a couple of cases they were on the open sea, but if they tried to do much of that at sea, those get expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, don't you imagine most of that was studio though?
Yeah.
The interior things were shot in a warehouse, but the ocean scenes were shot around an old boat.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And what was the Kevin Costner Westworld?
Waterworld.
Waterworld.
Yeah. Now that was shot, I mean, all on water. That was very expensive.
Yeah.
And not very successful.
No.
No.
Mad Max in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. What are you talking about?
That was your
and
pick,
Ishtar,
wasn't it?
right?
Yeah.
Well, this
I
was a
also
lot
like
of
the
fun.
way Richard
I was
Curtis
just
did.
blown away by the rights conundrum.
Yeah. I like the way Richard Curtis did a lot of split screen with the people on the boat but also the fans reacting to it. I thought that was well done. Kind of coming back to what the Jeff had said about the how the showing the fans really very much made it you just felt a kinship with them. So
Yeah.
I like the way he did that.
Did you think anybody in the movie was transformed?
Oh, the Ark?
Yeah. I mean, by the nature of it, they had to be pro music, anti-establishment, and they had to do that all the way through. And then whatever the UK minister had to be anti-music all the way through. So was there any room for anybody to be transformed? Somebody who didn't like music, love it, and somebody who loved music thought maybe this is because anytime and I know you're tired of me saying this, but anytime a movie, there is not somebody in the movie that you can watch be transformed because of some experience, I think it lacks something. And the way this movie is set up, there's almost no way for somebody, except for the kid, who discovers his dad and mom, and anyway.
So does that mean his dad was transformed in this?
I don't think he was at all.
No, he's like, wow. I would make a little joke here that the Ark in this case was the boat
itself. Oh, boom, boom.
Poor thing, yeah.
Hey,
Well,
don't quit your day job, Copeland.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, but Carl, he starts off with so who's your dad? Oh, he just screwed my mom and didn't leave his name or anything. Started with this like, oh, it doesn't matter. And then when the boat is sinking and he's like, where's my dad? And he goes back to save Bob. So in that sense, that was a change of like, what does it matter? He was just a sperm donor kind of an attitude to, this is my dad. So I guess that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That one.
Plus, he lost his virginity.
Then there's that. Yeah.
And that's an arc.
That's so
to speak.
There were definitely some, in terms of sex tropes that you see in movies, there were definitely quite a few there. But that one, and then the switch, the intentional one with beefy
Dave.
And then some of the other the more impulsive switch, and then of course Mark, and the fact that he really didn't have game. He just stayed quiet until became so tense that he would just say, okay, well, now's the time.
So did Simon have an arc? I mean, he's the guy who was supposed to, well, he did get married.
Yeah.
And then he kind of went back to, okay, I'm one of the guys.
Yeah, yeah. But then in the very end, he found his fan.
Yep.
She
Yeah.
saved. I liked how the posh people saved Gavin. When they were
Yeah.
all on the boats they were being saved by, and they're
Yeah.
standing on the sailboat
Yeah.
with champagne.
With the champagne. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And then the other boat that had the sign, anybody but Angus.
Yeah.
Bless his
Yeah.
heart. Yeah. And then Dave again with the glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
What a
that.
cheesy
Oh.
move, Dave. You know. But yeah, you could tell I did not have a great affinity for Dave.
Did Curtis
Oh,
write this and direct it?
you know what? I'm not sure. I know he was the director. Maybe somebody could look that up.
I
Um,
don't know.
but yeah.
Would you ask? I'm sorry.
Who the writer
Did
was.
Curtis write it and direct it, or did he just direct it? I don't have the answer.
Yeah, one of the reviews I saw was pretty critical of the women in the movie being treated as discardable and,
Hmm.
you
Oh yeah,
know,
I mean there
like
was, I
bringing
mean,
food
definitely
on board.
chauvinistic. It was very
Oh,
chauvinistic, but
yeah.
so were the 60s. You
Yeah.
know, it was
Yeah.
genuine in that way. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I hear what you're saying though. Um, but speaking of Marianne, that dress when she first shows up, Donna and Chris, that checkerboard and then polka dots with the little flowers sprinkled
Oh,
on
yeah.
it and the puppy
Oh,
sleeves,
yeah.
the empire. It's like that isn't the dress of the 60s, Mary Quant. It was
Hmm.
this, and then she's got the green tights and then the little,
Right.
T-strap shoes. There was
Yeah.
just perfect. And then behind Jeff Copeland, when they all dressed up for the wedding. Oh my gosh, those those costumes. It
Perfect.
certainly
Great.
wasn't an Oscar-winning movie, but they should have at least gotten something for the costume design because it was perfect.
They were like Twiggy.
Yeah, yeah,
Twiggy.
yeah.
Okay, and so whenever I turned it on, the photograph that was on the front, they had four of them walking. They're
Hmm.
Yeah.
talking about there not being any Beatles. Well, surely that was a takeoff on Abbey Road.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Indeed.
yeah. I
They
agree.
refer to the Beatles, they just didn't play any
Yeah,
tunes.
they couldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's got to be a rights thing.
Yeah,
It
well,
was.
would have made it a $60 million movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And I was
I
thinking
look,
about it. I mean, you think about when this was filmed, probably 2008.
Hmm.
I mean, it's coming out in the middle of the great financial crisis.
Hmm.
I mean, it was a shitty time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
That's for
and
sure.
think about this: this movie has two titles:
Yeah.
Hmm.
The Boat That Rocked and then Pirate Radio. And I
Yeah.
looked up when I was trying to find it. I looked up Boat Rocked and Pirate Radio popped up.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
looked up
think,
and
Don, go ahead. No, go ahead, Jeff.
Curtis wrote it and directed it.
Okay.
Oh, he did.
All right.
Great.
You
I think
overrode
one
it.
title was the
Yeah.
English title and one title was the American
Yeah.
title. Is
Yeah.
that
That's
right?
That is
correct.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they really cut it down when they, when to bring it to the screens in the US.
And do you know, was there a storyline they cut out or?
There were several, yeah, there were several. Jeff, you mentioned one.
Yeah, the
The,
Beatles thing.
the
Yeah,
Beatles
with
thing.
Seymour Hoffman.
But there were
I
there
think
were
it
like
was just different scenes, Gary.
They just
Not
wanted to shrink
not
it.
anything that moved
Yeah.
the story.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. I saw that and noted, made note that they could cut out like five different big scenes or scenes, but it cut out a big chunk of the movie. But I didn't write down what they were, and don't remember where I found that too. So I like the credits too when they just kept showing album covers.
Yes.
Did
Yes.
you?
That was
And if you
great.
like sort of like, oh, I have that. Oh, I had that one. Oh, I have that
Yeah.
one.
I mean, it was so nostalgic. Oh my
I saw
God.
that King Crimson one and I go, oh my God, I haven't heard that in
Yeah,
forever.
exactly. That's what
Yeah.
was so great.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
what I
wonder
mean.
if you, I wonder
The
if you don't
music
have to
was a
pay for the
character
rights
in
to
and
show
of
an
itself.
album cover.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You must,
Uh,
no, I don't know. Maybe that's public domain.
So Karen, I don't know if you talked about the fact that there were these floating radio stations. They
Yeah.
were
Oh
a
yeah.
real thing. And this one was Radio Caroline was
Mhm.
the inspiration for
Oh,
Radio
okay.
Rock. And there were
Yeah.
several of them that floated around out there in international waters so they
Hmm.
wouldn't get in trouble.
I think that Donna said 6 of them.
Yeah, there were six. And there was
Mhm.
also what they said is that it really wasn't because of the waves that they would it would go in and out and they would hear things in the background falling and all that stuff, you know.
Hmm.
So I guess yeah, but you know how we were, you wanted to hear the music. I don't remember, of course, I'm in Chicago. In Chicago, we always had uh well, we had WLS, but was there any stations that weren't playing rock and roll where you guys were?
Oh, yeah, plenty of stations that
Well,
weren't
yeah.
doing it.
I mean, but you
Yeah.
always had one that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
not like
We
a
had,
I think
band
that's
like in
also why
England.
it didn't play well here, is because we didn't have that connection to
yeah.
not being able to hear the music that we wanted to hear. At least
We
that's
had
what,
KSHE, KSHE here in St. Louis, and they're
yeah,
still
and
around, but
it's
broadcast
different
radio was
now. Yeah,
nothing like it now, like it was then.
right.
Did you say
Uh,
KFAG?
so KSHE,
Oh, I
KSHE.
thought you said FAG, and I thought, I've never heard of that
Uh-oh,
one.
no, no,
So
no.
KSHE 95.
Got it.
Yeah. That was the album rock station. And then we
Yeah.
had um, another one that was just top 40, a couple of them that were just top 40. It was like, by the time I was like a junior and a senior in high school, it was like nobody listens to top 40.
Yeah, yeah.
We want album rock. They'd play um,
Our top
long,
40 was
those long
WHB.
cuts. Inagata Davida was like the
Yeah,
big deal.
forever, yeah.
Yeah, you go,
Yeah.
oh, they're gonna play Inagata Davida at
What was that?
9:30.
Don McLean, with that, how long was that? 9 minutes or something?
Yeah,
American Pie.
Yeah, American
Yeah.
Pie.
Yeah, that was a long one. Or if
Yeah.
they'd play any of the Grateful Dead's,
Yeah.
jams, it would go, they'd play the long versions of whatever they had. Yeah.
See,
But
now,
I agree, Don. It didn't, in the United States,
if
we wouldn't have had a similar experience. Although there was like as Chris, I think, said, there were groups that wanted to
Oh, yeah.
ban rock and roll,
Catholic
all
Church.
together. And then remember Tipper Gore and her,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
putting labels on. That was that was rap though. That
Yeah, that was more
Tipper,
rap. Yeah.
Yeah.
her
And
casual
then,
racism there,
Yeah.
and then Frank Zappa's response to that.
What
which
the
was
response?
He appeared before Congress and said, "You guys are a bunch of idiots. This is free
Yeah.
speech, and this is not
Yeah.
something you should ban." He was very vocal.
yeah.
Cool.
Funny, true then and true now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely.
still true. Still true.
Yeah, what I wanted to kick in here is Jeff Copeland lived in a small town. I lived in a small town, not quite as small as he. And if it wasn't for WLS, which we could pick up day and night, and KAAY, there were not many stations, small stations, even in 1970 that were playing top 40 music. There were a few, but not many, and they were not powerful stations. And so places like LS and KAY were the main sources of listening music.
Yeah, I think top 40 was WHB.
Yeah, and FM music at that time was Muzak. I mean, it was
Yes, right.
They were
Right.
playing that in
It was
Dennis.
Elevator. Yeah.
Right. Or you'd have a classical station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even have those.
But I
We
think
had one in St. Louis. I'm sure they had them in Chicago as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
And then eventually NPR was our classical station for half of the day, and then they would have, their
Right.
spoken word kind of shows. And
Yeah,
then
but
it
NPR didn't come into
became,
being until 1970, 71, something like that.
yeah. So yeah.
But I think the music connected all of us, if I can use that term, because there were so few stations that played it, it was something that we all connected too. Did you hear, have you heard this? Did you hear that? That kind of thing. That
With their bumper sticker on your car, you know?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was so much that, music connected you so much to that
But I
yeah,
mean,
not so
you
much
had
anymore
Buddy
that I
Holly and Elvis and Johnny Cash for a
right.
prior generation, and you have
Yep.
Lauryn
Right.
Hill and other people in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Right.
it finds a way.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it has
Yeah.
to. It's the universal language. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had an interesting experience when we took a music cruise recently. We were talking about the
Oh,
album
yeah.
covers. Henry Diltz, who was the guy that took the cover of Crosby, Stills and Nash and Morrison Hotel and a whole bunch of other things, was on the ship and gave an hour-long presentation about his adventures as a rock music photographer.
Wow.
Wow.
So that was quite interesting to hear him talk about how things just happen, like the Morrison Hotel thing. Somebody in LA had spotted this hotel and they said we should go over there and take a picture with the doors. So they got there and they went inside and talked to the guy at the desk, and he said, no, you're not doing that. But they watched through the window and he went into the elevator and was gone for a couple minutes. He zipped in there fast as could be, took a picture, and got the hell out.
That's
So
great.
some of those things were just really lucky. And the Crosby, Stills and Nash
Yeah, that's the one I was
cover,
thinking of.
they're in reverse order. They were going to go back the
Right.
next day after they decided what they were going to call themselves,
Yeah.
and the building had been torn down.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The grungy old couch was gone.
Yeah.
That was what, the Deja Vu album, right?
No, that was the original first.
Oh, yeah,
Crosby,
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Where they're sitting on that grungy old
Yeah,
green
yeah, I
couch.
got it.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So speaking of the bad guys, that was trying to remind myself of things I was going to ask. The bad guys, the twat, that character. If you're like, I know I've seen him before, and I kept thinking Downton Abbey, but no, he was in the Pirates of the Caribbean. He was a bad guy there
Wow.
too. Yeah, that's
Okay.
what's his last? Let me see what his last name is. Davenport.
Was he an English
I-
officer or
Yeah,
something like that?
yeah, right. He was
Yeah,
one of the
naval officer.
English officers. But Sir Alistair, the character that Branagh played, when at least Twat, once the boat was going down, wanted to save their lives, and Alistair said, "No, I can't.
No.
We
Yeah.
need that money for other things." He was a real son.
Oh, awful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
He wanted to be
can't
prime
like him.
minister, I'm sure.
Yeah, right, right.
So Davenport's character had a change of heart.
That's right. There you go, Gary.
Yeah.
Short arc, but he got there.
Short, but yeah.
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 Yeah. It
He
took
was
a
at
while.
least he was human, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hasn't he played something else, Karen?
well, I maybe that was the what
Okay.
that was what was kicking into my head when I saw that. I'm like, oh yeah, that's how I know him.
Yeah.
So I
I know him,
didn't
but not from that. But I don't know what I
didn't
know
go
him from.
beyond that. You could
Yeah, I
you
will.
could look
Yeah.
it up. But I think that was everything. All my questions that I had about this movie and to sort of
Well, Gary, how'd your survey come out?
Well, the results are in, and this will be a very similar vibe and theme to Karen's movie. The winner is Almost Famous.
Oh, good.
hey.
And that's
Very
the one that's
similar.
probably best known. I mean, he won best screenplay for this, and it's almost like a movie memoir for him. But
Mhm.
it will be the soundtrack and the bands featured will be an American version of all the British stuff we heard in the movie we just watched. So we're just going to turn the album over and listen to American music.
That's great. That's a great segue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
it
great.
is. And
Thanks.
it's similar. It's so similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Was
was
it
my
one
second
close?
choice out of the list. I still like, holding the boombox over your head, saying
Yeah,
the
me
thing, but
too.
yeah, I know. But I like, and it's been a long time since I have seen, that one. So
Yeah. I've never seen singles, so I was, tempted to just pull a switcheroo and go, I don't care how you voted. We're going to watch one I haven't seen.
that's why you didn't want us to respond all, so you can manipulate.
Uh-huh.
No,
He
that's
didn't want
real.
anybody keeping track.
I just thought
Right.
I'd, I also didn't
Was it
want you
close?
influencing each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you notice the nice way after two of you replied all? He didn't say a thing. And then I saw it and I replied all, and he crawled all over me.
So
Just crawled all over me.
I know. I'm like, poor John. You know.
That just means he likes you, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, right.
That's his way. That's just
Again,
Gary's way.
let me repeat one more time.
What part of don't reply all did you not hear?
Hell, I didn't read it.
That's right.
So who's got to be ready for the next one, Jeff? Arthur?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's me.
Yeah, we're back to the top of the list again. Yeah, so be thinking.
Has anybody seen anything worth seeing?
Well, I did see Project Hail Mary, and if you like that, I thought it was good. I mean, it's interesting.
And long.
And he's really good because he's it's only him and a robot. So I mean, it's really good. It's very good. Or interesting. Let me put it that way. I don't know if
There you
it's
go.
great, but it's very interesting.
Has anybody seen Margot's Got Money Trouble?
No.
Do you know about the book or the show? Okay. Well, the premise is she's a promising student writer and then has an affair with her literature professor, gets pregnant, and her world turns upside down. So she starts taking on odd jobs that the internet has to offer, like calling men and insulting them on the size of their manhood. I mean, it's
Oh my God.
it's a very engaging show.
Sounds like Monty Python.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to remember the guy who wrote it. The guy who wrote it wrote The Practice, and
Okay.
he's a well-known. He's married to Michelle Pfeiffer, but they've never worked together. And he put her in this one. And Joan has read the book and said that she pulls it off because she's the unhappy mother of the pregnant writer. Anyway, I'm trying to remember. It's on Apple TV. If you have
Okay.
Apple
Yeah,
TV,
I have Apple. Yeah.
you should take a look.
Makes me think
What's
of,
it called
on
again?
Valentine's Day, women, if you can, there's a rescue or, group, animal protection group or whatever, that on Valentine's Day, you can name one of their, to be adopted pets, your ex's name, and then they will neuter it.
That's great. Now the name of
for a
it's
fee.
Margot's Got. Is it Margot's Got Money Trouble? That's the
Yeah.
name of the book. Margot's
Okay,
Got Money
on
Trouble.
Apple. Good. Yeah. Good.
Funny.
All right. Well, I'm all done with mine, and we know what Gary's is, and
Good
no
job,
other-
Karen.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
glad. I was
Excellent.
yeah.
Jeff?
Very fun.
That was fun to
Jeff
see both of you
Arthur,
guys.
thanks for hosting.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you, Jeff.
Yes.
being
Oh,
the
yeah. Hey,
charge.
it was tough.
We don't know.
Okay,
Never done it.
Whitaker and Matson, are we shooting pool tomorrow?
I will if you will.
I'm okay.
Yeah, let's do.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Mahoney,
Yeah.
are tickets on the way at Will Call? Do you know anything about them?
I will double check. I was figuring I would have them by now. I'll call Kendall tomorrow or reach out to her and figure out what the situation is. But yeah, they should be good. I just don't have them.
He arranged for some Royals tickets,
Oh.
and then to a game that he can't even go to.
Oh no. All right. I'm out of here. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.